In this video, we'll talk about the paradox that literally broke my mind, and that paradox is guaranteed to relive your perspectives on certain things in life, such as your reasoning, your hope, your productivity, your understanding of psychology, and the thing that you use to maintain an emotional balance in your life. The life has setbacks, struggles, the life has wins, the life has pain, the life has love, the life has family. Everything traverses between hope and struggle. You have struggle, you have hope that the struggle will go away and something new comes up. So I recently read this book called Everything is Effed by Mark Mason, and that book literally kind of changed my view on these sort of entities that we're going to talk about. Let's begin. Now, first of all, let's talk about the uncomfortable truth. Hope is that drives you today, and that will drive you tomorrow as well. But the existence of our life is only based on the present world struggle. And in that life, everything gives hope. Religion gives you hope of an afterlife. Degree gives you hope that you'll get a good job and earn money. Partnerships give you hope that it'll give you more in future, you'll be happier. Knowledge gives you hope that it'll help you in some way. Everything is based merely on hope. Now, your duty is to make that hope into something more tangible and something more sensible in your life so that you're kind of different from others. Why? Because you use hope to benefit yourself in way too much than others. How am I hoping this? How can I achieve that hope? Once you ask these questions, that is what creates difference and change. Secondly, self-control is somewhat of an illusion. Why am I saying this? Your thinking brain doesn't always make decisions. That's totally BS. Why? Imagine a car. The car is your brain. Your driver is the emotional brain. And the one showing the maps and everything is the thinking brain. Do you know and did you even realize that your feeling or emotional brain kind of controls your thinking brain? They have a fight and also a good partnerships between them. And that is the thing that you need to rectify and fix and harness and nurture today. It's mainly because the mere idea is that ideas and things wouldn't really exist if there were no emotions. You have emotions, and then due to emotions, you have hopes and values. Those hopes and values create the rationale or the logic in your brain. And that is the exact reason why nurturing the emotional brain and understanding your emotional brain and the way how you will deal your feeling guy inside your brain will help you to be more natural, to be more nurtured, to be more happier, logical. This realization is that help your emotional brain, care for it, talk to it, go out on self-dates, buy yourself something new. Whenever you're feeling sad or happy, ask why you're sad or happy, share it to someone. That is you accepting your emotional brain, and that acceptance will lead you to a more rational and logical version of yourself. Next time, understand this fact that your emotions and feeling aids the logic. Thirdly, Newton's law of emotion law. Every emotional reaction or action has an equal and opposite reaction. The way you poke your emotional brain is the way that it will impact or harm or positively impact you. That is one of the key main factors. You see, in life, you're not always happy or sad or crazy. You're literally fluctuating between different sorts of emotions, and that is called health. That is okay. But I found 3 of the main points from this book about emotions. Emotional reaction has a cause, okay? Once you start to get yourself into the habit of understanding the cause between a sort of emotion, what is you are building emotional intelligence and consciousness. Secondly, self-reinforcing. Self-reinforcing is basically ideally the fact of reflecting or seeing your emotions from a little bit of different perspective. It helps you to build muscles on your thinking brain. What you're doing again? You're interplaying the play between the thinking brain and your emotional brain. If you kind of become rude or harsh towards your emotional brain or feeling brain, man, you're off to bad track. And thirdly, emotions decay with time. Emotions get less qualityful over time, and that's okay. Your duty is to understand it. Again, reflect back and talk to it. Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself in very simple terms. How to even do that in practical world, in your real world? You could take a journal. You have an internal personality. That internal somewhat defines your external behavior. Number 4, the equation for dreams being true. And that emotions and experiences creates your values in your life. You have certain values, and that values is hard to achieve, which is difficult, but those values are very meaningful, and those values are formed by you having many different experiences in your life. That seeing the value and having the value in your heart creates hope. You have a hope that one day you're gonna achieve or have that valuable thing or value inside you, unknowingly or knowingly. Now your challenge is to make that hope reality. Now you understand this framework. Most of the people do not even get this thing, okay? You understanding. Now, only what you need to do once you understand it is take a step back and count or list the things that you need to do in order for your hope to be true. The best way that you can be happy in the system is knowing more than what others, and exactly by going deep in the process. You can ask it, is this hope real? Is this achievable? What should I do to achieve that hope? Take a journal and do that. It's about talking to yourself and being true and accountable to yourself. That is what creates the fundamental system. Again, you need to find ways to carry your hope into the future. It's getting somewhat very sunny and I'm sweating. I've traveled from Canada to Bangladesh for my summer, but that's okay. We'll continue the video here. Fifthly, hope is left. Yes, the book implies that wrong hope brings danger. You need to be careful of that. We talked about hope a lot. Now, we need to be really careful about that sort of hope. You try to be happier based on the self-burning treadmill about the fact that you feel that you are, in simple terms, when you feel that you're not happier, you try to be happier. But like, when you're trying to be happier, you're implying the fact that you're not happy already. And that creates a self-contradictory thing about that, oh, I'm not good. And then it's like a self-burning treadmill. You need to get out of that sort of danger or trap. The correct mindset is that I'm happy today, I can be happier tomorrow. I may be a little bit happier less, but I'm never implying the fact that I'm not happier today. Whatever you're trying to achieve, do not forsakingly say that, oh my God, you're so astray, so far away from the goal. What you're doing or having now is okay and you can be better. Having hope is better, but having calculated and logical hope is key. You just cannot have hopes and then be like, oh my God, I had hopes. You're probably depressing yourself if you're having the wrong hopes, my man. True peace is, is accepting present and hence breaking free from this run, okay? From the run and hop. No. True peace comes from accepting and then creating the change, creating that drive slowly but surely with time, resilience, and understanding of yourself. The more aware you are, the more happier progression that you will have towards what? Productivity. And what productivity? Meaningful productivity. And that is the goal for our video. Productivity where you're the happier one, where you make yourself happy. Now, let's talk about humanity and hope. So, ethical practices creates value and this forms good hope. You have good practices, you're good with people and everything. That creates the value or the thing in your brain or heart to change, and that creates good hope, okay? But how do you even do that? Be nice to people, talk to people, be with people, maintain good relationships with people. It's more about the fact of understanding people from different perspectives because you're not going to be here in this world all the time. You can change your perspectives on him and talk to them. And the book implies a lot on the fact that you need to form good friendships in order to become a great version of yourselves. And that is something that I wanted to add in this video. Number 7, pain is a universal constant. Okay, I think that the world would not even exist if there were no pain. If there were no pain, there were no gain. If there were no pain, you wouldn't have an incentive to think about hope. If you not have any pain, what would ideally happen is that your brain would start to look for other small meaningless problems to make the present more meaningful. Brain is not always accustomed to the fact that, oh, we don't have any problems. People cannot live in harmony, and that's the way that we are built. And a world without completely less pain is not an ideal world that we ourselves would like. Ideally, pain is a universal constant, but the main factor is choose what you want to go through, what sort of pain you want to go through. That makes you smart, that makes you emotionally stable, and that makes you happier and more successful at the very end. Now, how do you even do that? Practice self-reflection, the things that I've talked about in the previous points. My point is, pain is there for hope to be there for you to critically establish a meaningful life today. Next time, instead of, avoiding the pain, reinforce what pain is worth. Number 8, the feelings economy. People make actions based on feelings and not only rational. And that's very important to acknowledge, because you need to know how to treat your emotions to harness the good feelings that makes productive decisions, because as a human you ultimately need to be happier and productive in your decisions, and productivity comes from realizing your self-worth and understanding, and that ultimately makes you unique. These things in the world, is undergone through validation upon feelings, okay? Upon feelings. Once you know that people validate things based on feelings, that's when the turning point comes, and that's when you need to make yourself ready for the next big thing. Hence, a world with no chaos would still be chaos. What you can do today is regulate the chaos, but you also need to regulate how you see the chaos. All of these things add up very beautifully, and it makes me so excited that we humans have at least found these principles, because I'm so happy about it. Number 10, and that is lastly, the mere paradox of hope. Humans are somewhat powerful but powerless in the universal context, okay? You're powerless. Regardless of if you believe in God or not, that's not really it. Humans are ideally powerless, and that's okay. And that powerless gives you the very birth of hope. This video was all about hope, how hope makes you happier, can be made and changed to make you happier, how hope defines productivity, how hope defines the life. I think hope makes us work, hope makes us take responsibility, it introduces problems and then introduces problem solving. And the world is ultimately, like this regulation of hope and struggle. You guys know that we will die one day and everyone will be gone, and that all hopes will eventually come to an end. How about we change today? How about we be happier today? How about we try to be more smarter, be more conscious today? And that exactly defines what you're up to and how successful you will be. And in the big picture of things, my friend, you're just trying to be a little bit more into yourself. See you guys in the next video. Bye bye.